I am on a girls' drinking holiday as a holistic wellness coach. So usually the two wouldn't go hand in hand. They wouldn't pair well together. However, there is ways I balance the two. I, one, don't like drinking often. It's not something I do on a weekly basis. It's usually every couple of months. And I'm also not binge drinking. I can enjoy a few drinks and be happy at that kind of tipsy level, which is something that I've struggled with in my past. And my current life revolves all about holistic wellness because it's what's allowed me to come home to myself and escape the binge drinking culture. How do the two go hand in hand? For a while, I actually pulled away from the drinking culture altogether. And I do still have this sense of like, I don't belong here because I don't technically belong in the drinking culture. However, I'm learning how to balance the two. So, for example, we arrived at this beautiful lodge yesterday. It is, I'm sitting on the balcony right now, and it's just so peaceful. I've got coffee, orange juice. The sauna is heating up. We have a sauna. So there's so many like good aspects to this. There's a gym that we're gonna go to, and there's a hot tub that we were chilling in last night. Now, when we first arrived, the girls I'm with, it's a family girls trip, and we go away. Basically, there is so many good activities for me to be doing. Like, I can go to the gym, I can go in the sauna, I can be out in nature. There's trees everywhere. I've already hugged so many. However, when we arrived yesterday, the girls I'm with, they do enjoy having a drink, and like that's their preference. So when we did arrive, it was straight to the alcohol, which is that sometimes can pull me away a little bit. I'm like, oh, it's so keen on the alcohol that I kind of can pull back a little. So I'd had a glass of wine. I then had a Rubicon. It's like a flavored sparkling water, and then had another glass of wine, and then had a glass of water, then had another couple of glasses of wine, and then that was me for the night. And actually, I was on this really nice little level where I was able to enjoy being tipsy, where you're giggly and you're dancing and you're just having fun, without taking it too far. And then I woke up this morning and I feel fresh, and it just feels nice. So I'm going to take you along with the weekend. I'm probably not going to video too much, but I'll take lots of little snippets and drop in when I can, because I want to share how I balance the two. This is a trip we do once a year, and how I can still be present and connected with so many women, even though they live different lives from me, and how I can still stay true to myself by, for example, taking a slow morning. So everyone's downstairs, but I've just come outside. I've done some breath work, a little bit of journaling, just so I can come home to myself. I can kind of unravel all the party and the fun of last night. I can come home to myself, ground in my body, and then I can go into the day. So I'm gonna take you around where I can, dropping in where I can, but I don't want to drop in too much because I don't want it to pull me away from the experience and being here. But I'm just going to take the last little bit of this nature, and then I'm going to go down and get breakfast. Food's probably going to be a big bit. There's a lot more food I'm eating this weekend that I wouldn't usually eat. I had 2 slices of pizza last night, and then I ate tons of chicken wings. I thought as long as I eat enough meat and I have a little bit of like processed food that I wouldn't normally eat, my body tends to be okay. As if I eat just tons of the processed food and I've not got any meat, then I'm going to start feeling really sluggish. So my diet is definitely not going to be perfect this weekend, but I'm okay with it just being for one weekend and I'm getting to enjoy my experience. But I'm going to stop rambling for now, and I will take you along with me throughout the weekend. First up is my low tox toiletries. This is stuff I use on a day-to-day basis, but I packed all my homemade stuff up in little jars. This one's not homemade, this is the deodorant I buy. And then I make my own toothpaste, so that's activated charcoal in there. This is amazing for keeping teeth white. And then we have tallow moisturizer, and this is a soap I buy. It's made of olive oil. Now this is my toothbrush. It's called a miswak. It's part of a tree, so it's all natural. And then the next thing I focused on was hydration. Obviously we'd had alcohol, so our body's naturally dehydrated, and I was just about to go in and train here, so I thought it was extra important. We just had a little bit of salt, a little bit of honey, and some water afterwards, and I had an amazing training session after this. I was actually really surprised. I thought I'd have felt a bit sluggish, a little bit tired, weaker. However, I am in my ovulatory phase here, so my energy and my strength is at its highest. I was just a little bit surprised because we'd had alcohol the night before. Now, I'm not one for using machines in a gym. I prefer doing calisthenics and gymnastic sorts of training. However, I made do with a dumbbell workout here, and I actually felt my muscles so much the following days. The DOMs probably lasted like 3 days. Again, having alcohol, not having the best food, my recovery wasn't necessarily the best either, but I had an amazing training session here. And I of course had to finish with some stretching and flexibility work because this is honestly my favourite way of training. Just find that stretching gives me such the perfect opportunity to connect in with my breath and my body and allow both my body and my emotional state to open up and expand. We also got plenty of walks in nature and simply just spending time out in nature. The lodge that we were staying in was completely surrounded by trees, so I was out there every day with my shoes off, hugging the trees. This really helped me stay grounded and connected with my body. It really helped me remember what alignment meant to me. As well as nature, I also took time by myself and connected with the breath through meditation and breath work, and did some journaling as well. This all just helped me stay grounded, and I find my social battery can run out fairly quickly. However, I love being social, so just taking little moments where I could pull myself away and connecting with my body and my breath by myself actually really helped me then show up and socialize from my most authentic self. I also made sure to spend a lot of time in that sauna. We literally had it in the cabin anyway, so I may as well have made full advantage of it. But this one helped me sweat out some of the alcohol, and also it was just very, very relaxing. Also, can we take a moment because the sauna outlooked onto the balcony and I was absolutely obsessed with this. Now, as for the food, I made the best decisions I could, which was really getting enough protein in. The downside of this was things were cooked in seed oils and things had sauces on them, which probably had processed sugar and again seed oils in. However, my focus was get plenty of meat in. So on the Saturday night we went out for dinner, I ate steak, I finished my cousin's sausages off, and then I finished my auntie's burger off as well. So I was getting loads of protein. Here we have Lauren sausage, so it is processed meat, not perfect, but I always feel better when I get more protein in. And then on the Sunday I did overindulge a little bit in chocolate and ice cream, but it wasn't to the extent that I would have called it a binge as such. It was just a little indulgence, so I'm not overly fussed. And then as for the alcohol, I'm not a big drinker. I don't drink often. I stuck to wine because I cannot do fizzy juice. And then in between glasses of wine, I had a little bit of Rubicon, or I opted for appetizer, or I just had some water. And then with all of that aside, I honestly just let myself have fun. I got up and I danced and I sang with everyone, and I just let myself make memories and have a good time. That is our little trip wrapping up, and this is the first trip I've gone on like this where I felt like I've actually stayed in alignment with myself. This is something we do every year, and coming from a place where I did used to rely on alcohol and even food to regulate my emotions and to socialize. Every year that we've done this trip, the more growth I've been able to see within myself. And now this time, there was still a few little slips, but I'm really holding grace for myself around not being perfect. So I'm actually really content with how I did it. Friday night we'd had alcohol, and Saturday night we did alcohol. Sunday, some of the girls had alcohol, but I just chose not to have any that day. And I did notice by the Sunday though, I was definitely feeling the effects of the alcohol more. I wasn't necessarily hungover, but certain thought patterns started creeping back in. And I did eat a little bit more food that I wouldn't usually eat. Like I'd had chocolate digestives, I'd had a white chocolate magnum, and we'd ate Chinese. And now this isn't stuff I typically eat. However, what I did notice is even though these thought patterns were creeping in, I kind of took a little and then realised like, oh, the sugar actually makes my body feel really crap. So if I keep giving into these thoughts right now, I'm going to feel super crap tomorrow. So I was able to kind of like acknowledge that the thoughts were there, but not let them kind of kick into overdrive and make my decisions for me. So that was really nice. And I think overall that's actually probably what I've really enjoyed the most from this is I've had that freedom of like, this is how I live my life, but I'm on this trip here, so I'm going to indulge in a few little things, but I'm not going to let it overtake and overconsume me so that I'm out of alignment with myself. So that has been actually really, really nice. Another thing that has been really interesting to watch actually, because I haven't let these decisions and thoughts fully take over, I actually don't feel bloated at all. I thought I would have felt really bloated because of the food and the alcohol, but because there was the little things that I kept in check to keep me aligned with myself, like sometimes having water between the alcohol, or even having like appetizer in a wine glass to make it look like I was, or making sure I was getting enough protein in, still looking at hydration, things like that. I think that all really helped me not feel bloated. I'm probably holding on to a little bit more water weight than usual, but like it's not to the degree that like I'm bloated and then I'm thinking negatively about my body. So that has been a really nice surprise actually. My skin has broke out a little here now, and it kind of looks like there's one about to break out here, but I'm really not surprised. Alcohol, sugar, I think it's the sugar that honestly messes me up. The processed sugar messes me up more than any of it all. So that I'm not surprised about, but I'll go back to my normal routine and that'll start fading out within the week, so I'm really not too fussed. We're now just packing up. I've got a little coffee and I'm just sitting on the balcony one last time because the sun is perfectly on me and it just feels so lovely. But we are just packing up now and getting the cars full, and then we're gonna head. I'm just finishing my coffee on the balcony, soaking up some of the sun and ready to go back to normal life, normal eating, normal training, normal habits. But yeah, this weekend has been really nice because it has taught me that I can still enjoy these moments with these people I love and still live in alignment with myself, which has been really nice. Now, if you have liked this video, thank you very much for being here, and like, comment, subscribe. Until the next video.